The wine industry in South Africa is one of the hardest and difficult industries to venture into, particularly because of its predominant ownership around it. However, today I'm in communication with Lata Ngoasheng, the man who's breaking through that industry with what he calls the Ellen wines. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Lata Ngoasheng. My brother, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Freeman?
Good, man. Thank you. Thank you for giving some time. Yeah. We had a bit of technical glitch, but we made it. It's a new norm, so we're trying to work at home and all that. So
now we are adapting.
Yeah, we're adapting slowly but surely. It's a new world, so you gotta do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out, how has the COVID-19 affected you and your business?
Well, you can imagine, man. It hit us very hard.
Yeah.
My businesses, all of them, not only the Ellen wines, rely on volumes, and volumes come with a crowd, come with numbers, and come with a certain level of audience, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So as soon as regulations came in that gatherings were now illegal, I found myself having to come up with other ways of trying to remain relevant. But it was then made also very difficult when we could not sell alcohol at all, meaning that people could not even order and get deliveries done, so that really was the final nail on the coffin.
Yeah.
So right now we basically just hanging in there, man. Thankfully, exports were later opened, which is where we diverted our energy to try push the export market. However, you can imagine our biggest market share at the moment is locally. So we were hit very hard.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I can imagine, like, the alcohol consumption, that's what your business is all about. Now, when there is a ban on that, it basically means that there is no sale. So I think you're one of the people that really took a knock, a serious one.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know Lata Ngaosheng, who is Lata Ngaosheng? What is the background, and where did he grow up?
Lata Ngaosheng is wow, that's interesting. Lata Ngaosheng is a young man from the rural areas of Limpopo. I'm a son of Limpopo, and I put it like that because most of my life is rooted in different areas and points of Limpopo.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud to always go out and say I'm a son of Limpopo, without focusing on a specific area. But just to give you just a quick run, originally I'm from 8 Gate number 1, which is a remote village in Limpopo.
Yeah.
So my father grew up there, so that's my roots. I later on, I was born in Polokwane, spent time in Tef, but majority of my life has been in an area called Leeuwfontein, between Marble Hall and Groblersdal.
Nice.
That's where I grew up and spent most of my life, and only when I left for tertiary. But home and right now where my mother is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm from. I'm a firstborn and the older brother of 3. I've got 2 beautiful sisters, raised by a very strong single mother.
Yeah.
Later on in life, I came to Gauteng to pursue pursuit of happiness, I guess, or the pursuit of better things in life.
Yeah. You came to the highlight of Gauteng. Yeah.
Well, at least what I thought.
Yeah, at least what you thought, and it turns out it was not actually, the bright city light.
It was the lights were very high to reach. We had to work very hard to reach them.
Nice, man. Did you grow up in a entrepreneurial family? I just want to understand the entrepreneurial spirit where you have to start businesses. Has that been something that was practiced in your culture in your upbringing when you were growing up?
Definitely. Most definitely. I don't remember a time ever in my life where my mom had a single job, She had multiple streams of income. She was a qualified teacher. She's retired now.
Yeah.
And even though she had that, every hour she had extra, it would be put into business. And we all grew up that being the norm, that everybody had to make some means of generating income for the family, you know. I remember at some point she had about 3-4 businesses that she was running, you know. So we really got that from her. And when I say we, my whole family is like that. My sisters are very entrepreneurial. It's a norm for us. You know, we find it very awkward when people say, I have one job, or I've got one business, or I don't have a business at all. You know,
Wow.
So I owe everything that I am from an entrepreneur point of view to my mother.
Interesting. Wow. Power to our mothers, man. They've always been a pillar of strength. I think, yeah, same background with you. I grew up with, raised by a single mother. And I've learned a lot from just women who are just trying to make everything possible to put food on the table for their family. It's amazing, man. Really amazing. Just trying to get into the Ellen Wines. I want to understand, how did that concept come about? Have you always been somebody, look at the man, it's COVID-19 and he's going to drink wine onto the show. I'm tasty here. Oh, wow. Anyway, I wanted to understand the concept of Ellen Wines. How did that come about? Have you always been somebody who wanted to venture into viticulture?
Not really. It became a part of my life at a later stage. Obviously, when I was older enough to start exploring alcohol.
Yeah.
And what attracted me to wines was the lifestyle, you know. Before I even knew taste of wine, I was attracted by the lifestyle of wine, you know. Why the lifestyle attracted me, you know, being a young entrepreneur and trying to get into businesses, I had to make sure that I polished myself as well. And part of that was how I carry myself, how I conduct myself, places and restaurants I go, kind of interactions I have with people. And I found that wine was one element that always was there in the kind of lifestyle I always looked up to. The interactions that people were having, the restaurants I would go for meeting with this elderly gentleman and woman, what they would order wine, you know. And I just appreciated how there was a difference between somebody who was drinking wine, drinking beer, drinking whiskey. They would carry themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And I got drawn to that, and I started exploring wines. And luckily, I have an uncle of mine who's a very, very amazing wine collector, and he's got a very beautiful collection. And every time I met with him, he would always introduce me to the finest wines, you know. And that's how I got introduced to wine at a higher level of understanding the different levels of wine drinking and what wine is about. So, yes, to answer your question, it was the lifestyle that attracted me to wine. And from there, I never stopped. I started my own collection. So before LN even became about, all I was doing is collecting wines. So I've been collecting wines for the past 10 or more years. I've been collecting personally wines. So detailed that I'd even go to a restaurant and start making notes before we had these amazing apps.
Wow.
Before I drank a bottle, I'd make a note of what wine am I drinking? How did it taste? Did I like it? And give it a rating so that I know what I drank. And next time, do I want to repeat it? Do I want to recommend it to somebody? So it became a very
obsession.
The
obsession about the wine. That you had to become part of your life. There was no other way.
Definitely.
Nice. When you with the Ellen Wines, when you started it and said that, okay, fine, I'm gonna go create Ellen Wines, who was your end consumer in mind? Who were you targeting?
The target market really was after, you know, I got into Ellen Wines really by the wine space, or the wine business really came to me, you know. Before I knew it, I was in a business. It was a passion, like I'm telling you, you know. And when my son got born, I wanted to celebrate him with something I'm passionate about. And I decided to go with wine, you know. And wine was a perfect tool for me to celebrate it, or a perfect product for him to honor and celebrate his birth. And how I did that is I went off the shelf and I bought unlabeled wines. You know, there's this unlabeled wines in shops. So I bought that, and with my background of graphic design and marketing, I designed my own label, which I then put on the wine, but the label basically back then was just an LN label that said a beautiful story of saying, I want to welcome Lata Ngaosheng into the family. Wherever you are, please open the bottle and celebrate with me. So these bottles, I distributed them out to friends and family. I think I did about 30 or so of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Gave them to close members of the family and friends. And they loved that wine, And it was done so well, and looked so professional that they actually thought it was my own product,
Oh.
And I never stopped making those products. Every time I'd go to parties, I'll always have an LN bottle. So being a wine collector, having a bottle that somebody else does not have is always a good thing. You always felt like you have something better.
Yeah, that's special.
So I always use that. Yeah, I always use that as my own. Let me stand out, especially with the other gentlemen and ladies that I used to spend my time with, who established business people. Obviously, they could afford better bottles than I could, but they could never have an alien bottle. So I always had an advantage over them because they could not get it. Fast forward, people started.
I don't know why you are a genius. People came up with better bottles, but just because you came up with one that is unknown, it makes you like, guys, you can't beat this one. You don't know it.
Yeah, And so then, fast forward, people started saying, well, that bottle you gave me or the bottle you're having, can we buy it? Can we have it? And then a spark came and I realized that, wow, this is actually a business. I could turn this into a business, instead of me giving them out for free. Let me find a way of me making money out of this. And a very good friend of mine then said one day, just do this. Go commercial with this. And I can tell you that after we had that conversation, 2-3 days after that, I had already embarked on the commercial process of the wine. But why? Because even through that process, I was always going back and forth to estates, trying to make my own wine, even if it was for me to drink alone. So it was not to do a business. But so when that idea came, I was ready to go commercial because I had already gone through the process of developing my own wine. We were already ready to have a wine at that point. That for me was just, I thought, let me do this for now. And by the time Liam is old enough, he can make it a business. But look at us now. I guess we gave him a head start.
Dude, you already take it off the ground. It's flying. It's really flying.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's my understanding that you produce 2 cultivars right now. The 2017 vintage Merlot and the 2018 Sauvignon Blanc. What were the response when you started putting it out there? What was the response from the market? How did they respond to your products?
We have, just to correct you, we have 3 now.
Oh, yeah.
So this is our 2017 Merlot, right? And this is our 2019 Sauvignon Blanc. And then we also have this beautiful, sexy number, which is our 2019 Chardonnay.
That's a brand new one. I didn't know about that one. That's a new one.
This one was launched in December.
Oh, in December, yeah.
Yeah, launched in December, but as you can see already, it's award-winning. So it says how beautiful it is. Yeah. It's a very smooth, very light, very easy drink wine. The response has been truly amazing. The LN brand has got a life of its own. It surprises me every day on how it's growing. My team and I always come up with strategies and marketing strategies and plans. However, I really give credit to the life of the brand on its own. It's just getting out of our own control, and I love that. I love the fact that it's alive, like the product that we are selling. So the response has been truly, truly amazing. People they love it. People, first of all, they love the content because there's a difference, in a brand. There's certain brands that do not look amazing but taste good. Some brands taste good but don't look amazing. In our case, we've been very privileged that people admire our brand before they even get to taste the wine, And once they taste the wine, they're sold, and it's 100% full circle of people of response from and support from the people. Restaurants have been taking on it very well.
Yeah.
Every restaurant that I've knocked on their door and said, "This is who I am. This is the wine I have." You'll have that response, obviously, or you make your own minds. Okay, let's taste them until I open it, and we have it. A conversation goes a different direction.
Yeah.
So it's been really beautiful and amazing, and that's one thing I'm very grateful about, and excited to know that it's almost a year now.
Yeah.
That we've been commercial.
Yeah.
But it's been crazily amazing. So I can only imagine how it's going to be 2, 3, 5 years from now.
Interesting, man. It's fascinating. I'm one person who's obviously one of the buyers of your wine, and how it goes to resonate with me was the story and the packaging of it. And just for the mere fact that it was black owned, that's like, wow, like there is people who are breaking barriers out there and just trying to bring us something new. And I just fell in love with it. As like, this is must buy and this must have. And ever since then, I've been just always about Ellen Wines. Like even my friends, like, yo, dude, when are we tasting Ellen Wines? Like you guys have to come to my house. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And what you're talking about in terms of branding, coming from a branding and marketing point of view, it was very important for me to have the image I have.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to your initial question of who was the target market, As much as I did not have a target market in mind at the initial time, when the product was developed and I was ready to take it commercially, I had to step back and then ask myself those questions of, but who do I want LN, Who do I want to be the consumer of LN?
Yeah.
And I realized that I shouldn't even crack my skull or my head so much. I should just cater for myself. If I can make a product that I am proud to drink, somebody else probably will be, So the first thing I did is, what kind of bottle do I want to have? What kind of wine do I want to have? Even the taste profiles of my wines are based on me. Why I did that is because I realized there's a lot of us. When I say there's a lot of us, there's a lot of young, ambitious, driven, hardworking, want to achieve, come from backgrounds that normally people would believe you would not achieve, fighters in their own lane, that we are in numbers, and I'm not special in any way. If I can have something, it means that, or if something can resonate with me, I can tell you it's going to resonate with a million more young people like myself.
Absolutely.
So that's my target market. My target market is somebody like me, somebody like yourself, young, hardworking, driven, passionate about what they do. For me, the passion happened to be wine. For you, it could be something else. But what I wanted to do is to have somebody like you and myself sitting on a table, and one thing we have in common is a beautiful bottle of wine. And once I achieve that and I see it happening every day, it then expands where I want to go. I now start tapping into the overall lifestyle of somebody like me, somebody like you, Where do I want to be? I want to be at a music concert that you want to go. I want to go to a restaurant that you want to go, I want to go have dinner at a restaurant that you want to go, and get there and order a meal that you enjoy with a beautiful bottle. And what is going to come to your mind? A bottle that you can relate to, and that will be LN. So even the labeling, we did that. It looks very premium, And I like telling people that, that we're a premium brand, However, we're not a premium brand that is out of reach. We are a premium brand by the way we look. We are a premium brand by what we offer. We are a premium brand by how we carry ourselves. We are a premium brand by how we position ourselves. However, we are as premium as your thoughts and where you want to be at whatever level you are. Meaning that it's not a 2,000 bottle. It looks like a 2,000 bottle, tastes like it, but it's a bottle that I want somebody who wants to afford a 2,000 bottle but cannot afford it at that point, but their mind frame is already there to buy it. And at the same time, somebody that can afford it can come and buy it for the price that we're selling and still enjoy it and not feel insulted by the taste.
Wow.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Fantastic. It makes absolute sense. And it looks like you are tapping into that environment so well, so well, despite obviously the coronavirus right now, but you're tapping into that environment so well. I remember, like I told you, when I first tasted Ellen wines, I walked into that restaurant. Obviously, it was a Valentine's Day. Everybody was dining with their people. And when I walked in there, I just, because I knew the background story of the Ellen wines, I just admired the fact that people were having beautiful conversation. They didn't mind whose bottle it was. They were just having a beautiful moment. I was like, guys, like I even spoke with the lady that I was with that night. I was like, I'm so proud right now. And to say what? It's like those people are just having a good time. They don't even care about who owns that bottle or whatever. They're just in love with the taste and the mood that it just sets, the ambience that it sets. Dude, you're tapping into that environment well. And the reason why I put you on the show is that people like you inspires us, and we want them to just keep doing more, man. And we wonder also what makes them. That's why we feature people like you onto this platform. Now, the industry that you are venturing into, or you're already venturing into and doing so well, it's one of those industries that not everybody ventures into. So I want to find out, what are the challenges that you're facing in terms of breaking through retail and production. This is obviously an industry that was predominantly owned by white, and then you are venturing in. So I'm trying to understand, what are some of the challenges as a new person, as a new entrant within this industry?
Sure, man. The challenges are not special or unique in any way to any business you want to get into.
Yeah.
As Black people, young Black people, our challenges are common. They start before you can even present whatever business you are trying to sell or propose or pitch at that moment.
Yeah.
Our challenges go deeper than ourselves or the stories we are trying to tell. Mm-hmm. You know, we are still trying to deal with a backlog of disadvantages that we were faced with as a Black people. You know, now you fast forward and put yourself in the industry I'm in. You can imagine it's tripled, if not more. Because the industry is so controlled, you know, by the white people. Why? Because they own the most important aspect of the business, which is the land. You know, without the land, I cannot make wine. You know, so my most important source of my product, you know, is dependent so much on the other side than myself. So that on its own means that I always have to make sure that I go back and negotiate and find ways that I could work with the owners of the land and the owners of the states and the owners of the source of the grapes we use, to make sure that we have a positive and beautiful relationship to get to a point where I can have Ellen wines.
Yeah,
I was very privileged to have an estate that bought into my story. You know, when I sold them my story, they loved it. Yeah. They liked the idea. They appreciated where I was coming from. They appreciated the angle. They appreciated the fact that it was a brand that was about celebrating life more than anything. It was a brand about celebrating us, celebrating success, celebrating all the beautiful things. And what's more beautiful than the birth of your own son, you know? So they really bought into that and supported me as much as possible, you know? So that challenge that I know a lot of us face, and a lot of people that want to get into the industry are faced with today, I was lucky that it wasn't that difficult for me. Okay. However, it did not mean that the journey from there was easy, or is easy. Yeah. You can imagine, and like I said, it's not any special for the wine industry. It's in business everywhere. You know, as soon as a young Black person walks into a boardroom or a meeting table, you have to prove yourself even harder than the next person, white or Black, that you're capable of doing it, and you're capable of producing quality. You're capable of maintaining supply. You're capable of not letting them down, and being a reliable service provider or product provider. You know, so that on its own also, it's something we're always working extremely hard to make sure that we maintain our image at that level and standard. Thirdly, finance. This is a very expensive business. If it wasn't of the passion I have, I would have quit a long time ago. It's costing me a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so financially, it's a big challenge. If I were to wake up tomorrow and have money, or wake up tomorrow and win the lotto, the brand would look completely different and be positioned differently, because the plans I have for it are so advanced that my own finances cannot accommodate the plans. So financially, financial challenges is also one of the biggest problems we have that are slowing us down. But I always tell my team, and this is how I do, I handle all my businesses, that every challenge that we are faced with, for us, it's a beautiful opportunity. We are who we are today as LN because of the challenges. People do not expect quality. We give them quality. People do not expect the way a black-owned brand to look the way it looks. We give them more than what they expected. They do not expect the kind of taste profiles and the level of standard of our wines, and we give them that. So every challenge that we're faced with, we make sure that we respond with something beyond anybody's imagination expectations, and that puts us in a beautiful position. So all of a sudden, what was a challenge is now an opportunity that sets us apart from the rest of the industry or the rest of the brands in the game. So, and again, besides financially, distribution is another one. If you did not walk into that restaurant and have wine on that Valentine night, I hope it earned you a couple of points that you took it to such a beautiful place and had such a beautiful wine.
Listen, it was a date to never forget. She wouldn't forget that.
Unfortunately, you missed me. That night I was there. I was actually autographing a couple of bottles for some of the people that were there. So you would have even made it more special if I had caught you or you had caught me there. But anyway, my last challenge is distribution. What I was saying is, if you had not walked into that restaurant, you would have had a tougher time or a tougher challenge to access our wines. Right now we have to rely a lot on internet and sales, because mainstream distribution is a challenge to break through. We are not on every shelf. We are not in your mainstream retail spaces at the moment. But honestly, looking at the size of my brand at this point and where I want to take it and how I'm controlling it, it's not really a bad challenge. Like I said, every challenge, for some reason, I always see it positively. So I'm not in a rush for that. The time will come, and when that time comes, I will be ready, and I will not be insulting my market by giving something that is under par, which is something I'm not going to compromise on. If tomorrow I would get a call and I feel I'm not ready to have 1 million bottles in different stores, no matter how good the money looks, if I'm not ready from where I want to be or how I want to position, I'm not going to take on that opportunity, because the last thing I want to do is insult my market with something that I myself knows is not on point.
Absolutely. Quality over everything. Yeah. Interesting, man. How big is your team?
Good question. Good question. How big do you think my team is?
Starting at the farm, and people on the street that are sales, I don't know, maybe 30 people max.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the number I can give you.
All right. Starting at the farm part is a beautiful thing, because that's a shared resource. It's not they're not 100% dependent on LN. So that's a shared resource, even from a cost point of view.
Wow.
So that's a beautiful thing. So yes, at the farm, you're looking at around that number, just at the farm alone.
Just at the farm,
yeah. And then, see, those are different levels of wine production. So you've got the actual farm level, the production of the product itself, the wine. Then you move to the different level, which is then the commercializing of the brand. you know. So commercializing of the brand then has different aspects, like you put it. You've got your sales, your marketing, you know, and obviously all the other things that make your business. The commercializing part of the business is then supported by the distribution level. You don't have to own all the channels or all the levels or the value chain. You know.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm involved on the first and the second, and the third, because we're still doing our own distribution. You know.
Yeah.
I just happen to be lucky that my background allows me to plug into all of them. You know,
Dude,
production.
If you own it the source, then you have it all figured out. That's my thinking. I could be wrong.
No, yes, we do not own it the source yet, but we are partners in the source at the level that we are 100%, not 100%, but we are involved in the production actually. So we're not labelers. You know?
Oh, okay.
We also involved in the process here. We just don't own it yet. You know? And then the second part, which is the commercial part, which is the LN wine business. If we take it to the next level, which is the distribution part, which we're still doing ourselves. Like I said, when you're bigger, you can then have that outsourced. But we're now involved in all of them. What I was saying is my background allows me to be in all of them. My passion and my experience for the wines and wines that I've been in allows me to contribute also on the first production level. Obviously, in partnership with great, amazing experience, people that have got years and years of experience of making wine. So in collaboration with them, we do the production. And you take it to the next level of commercial. My business background, that has always been there, but from a young age, comes into play, you know. So everything that you see done, the marketing, the designing, the conceptualizing of what is the next communication we want to have, I'm involved directly because of my advertising and graphic design background and the business background that I come with. From a distribution point of view, also, again, obviously, it's from your entrepreneurial background that then says, how do I get my product to the next level? You know. So to answer your question, I have a team of less than 5 people in LN as a business.
What?
So the end business itself, it's myself, my MD, Vugani Ngumalo, my sister, Musima Ngoasheng, my wife, and that's it.
Oh, wow. Wow. I didn't expect such a small circle. Wow.
It's a small and that. And the 5th person, if I'm not counting myself, it's another amazing designer, amazing designer that every time I collaborate with, as much as I'm a designer myself, he's a design god. His name is Otto. And he's the extra element of our team. And that's it. You know, nothing else really is outsourced at this point.
Wow, man. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm inspired by this work, man. I'm inspired by this work. I think it's important, obviously, for a start, that obviously when you're about to start, you keep the numbers small, in particular of like your operating costs. So if you have that small circle, it makes it easier to scale and working at scale.
It's not by choice. It's not by choice.
Absolutely.
It's a budget thing.
It's a budget thing.
It's a budget thing. Everybody became involved because, you know, we all had to pull our weight. You know, it's a family business. You know,
Family business.
We see it exactly like that. You know, that everybody that is involved is doing this really because we have a vision, and the idea is to build a legacy. You know.
Interesting.
And the scaling part, I cannot wait for it because you can imagine it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, we all have other businesses that we involved in. So it's a lot of work having to do this to the level that we are doing and the professionalism that we are doing.
Yeah.
With the small team that we have.
Nice, man. Now, where are you taking this brand? Where would you like to see it headed? You know, in the next, say, 10 years. Let's give it 10 years. Where would you like to see the brand be positioned at?
10 years, Leonard will be 15. Okay, so he's still too young to
Take over the reins.
Yeah. So 10 years from now, I think 10 years it's a far off dream.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to believe I'm a visionary, I've gotten to learn that some businesses, you really need to give them an opportunity to have a life of their own and just parent them. You know, and LN is exactly that. Excuse the pun, you know, but it's a baby that right now, you know, the team, we're just parenting it and making sure that we give it a very strong foundation.
Yeah.
We give it a very strong character that it can take on the big boys in with time. We give it the opportunity, you know, to be competitive, not only locally but internationally. But the plans that we currently have, short-term plans and short-term goals, we have what, and it's you're basically probably the first person that I'm discussing this with, is we have what we call LNX that is about to be launched. LNX basically means LN experiences, you know. So now the LN brand is now going to expand into the experience side of wines, meaning we are now going to be giving you the beautiful live shows and live sessions that you'll be drinking wine at. We're going to be doing art exhibitions. We're going to be playing in art, fashion, music, and a whole full circle of the lifestyle of wine through the LNX arm of the business. I'm very excited about that because the LNX, again, it evolves around my own personal character. You know? I wanted to design something that I would enjoy. And like I said, a lot of people enjoy, like I said, it's nothing special. A lot of people they enjoy what I enjoy. You know, if you're going to an art exhibition, why not have an LN glass while you're looking at a beautiful painting on the wall? As an art collector myself, you know, it was easy for me to tap into that. You know, fashion, it's easy for me to tap into that. My team is very strong in that. My sister, who this is dedicated to, is also very strong in the fashion and the interior design side of things. So those are the kind of spaces we're going to start tapping into. So soon you'll be going onto our website, but we'll be selling you everything that you could be doing with a glass of wine, if that makes sense.
It makes absolute sense. Makes absolute sense. And we can't wait. We can't wait to see it get to that level.
It's going to be very beautiful. And I'm about quality more than numbers. So you can imagine we're going to be doing a lot of intimate sessions, a lot of live shows, music, a lot of art exhibitions, you know, not more than 80, 40 people, you know, so we can interact, we can engage each other, because that's what we're about. I liked how you described your experience at the restaurant. That's exactly what we're about, you know. We're about beautiful conversations with a beautiful bottle of wine on the table. We're about beautiful moments and experiences over our wines. We're about memories, you know. We're about people like yourself earning points, you know, because of a beautiful bottle of wine. That's exactly what that's exactly what LN is about. And
That's interesting.
We just want to package that in the LNX brand.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic, man. I mean, with the work that you do, I'm really inspired, and we wish you all the best. Now, in wrapping up, I just on this platform, we encourage Pan-African views. We live in South Africa, but then it's time, absolutely, especially particularly as young people, that we start thinking Pan-African. So one of the questions that we ask in closing is, what is your hopes and dreams for Africa? And then what kind of Africa would you like your son and grandchildren to grow up in?
That's a beautiful, beautiful question. To answer the first part of it, and it's not only in wines, it's in everything. Everything that I do and all the hard work I put in, I just want to give my kids the freedom of choice. You know, when I say the freedom of choice, is the freedom for them to choose to be whoever they want to be, without having to think economical challenges, without social challenges, without ever to think about any challenges that they cannot themselves face. If I can achieve giving my kids and the next generation the freedom of choice, I think as Africa will be in a better position, because once people have the freedom of choice, you become more valuable to society and productive to society, because you're not working under pressure.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And you find yourself better, and you come up with products and ideas. You are more creative, you're more innovative, and you've got the fighting spirit, because you don't have the pressure of where my next meal is coming from, such a simple, serious thing, you know.
Yeah.
So if we were to give our next generation the freedom of choice, we will find ourselves in a better position in all different aspects of life, be it a musician, be it a CEO, be a whatever dream Leano or Opelung, my daughter, have. They must go do it without any disadvantages or challenges that they have to worry about, because I would have given them that. Now, if for me, that's what I want for myself, and I feel like if Africa could have the same opportunity, or the next child next door could have the same opportunity, we'll have a better Africa, you know. Secondly, from a business point of view, I would really like to have us get to a point where we have more of our kind of brands, where we have more of beautiful brands with surnames like Ngaosheng on them, you know, with names like Lata on them, you know, with names like Musima on them, with international awards. You know what I mean? The more we play in that space, and I see a lot of us and the young guys are doing amazing work. I mean, I can name them, and I always support most of them, from sneakers to socks to jeans. Our names are on them now. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see that even consumers that we're doing these things for are now appreciating our own brands. And that's one thing that is beautiful, and I would like to even do it more as a consumer. But most importantly, the guys producing them, we also need to take ourselves very seriously. The days of saying I'm a black this, I'm a black that, I'm a black businessman, I'm a black winemaker are gone, you know. Yes, you're black, but what are you giving me? You know, so it's also very important to take our markets very seriously and not ride on our black card anymore.
Yeah.
But also give quality, produce quality, you know, respect our market, respect our products, and respect the kind of businesses that we are setting up, so that they can be competitive at an international level, you know. Absolutely. And our consumers can see that there's value in what they're buying, you know, besides buying a black brand, because like I said, that is not something that we should even be discussing anymore. You know, we should be discussing what kind of qualities, what kind of product are we now taking out to the market.
Yeah. Lata Ngaosheng, you are everything what the show is all about. You are taking Africa on the next level. You are a man of inspiration. You have taken it upon yourself to challenge the status quo. You are a progressive African, and we would like to thank you for giving us your time to share us with your story and with the work that you do on Progressive Podcast. We wish you all the best, my brother. May you keep inspiring many more of us, and may you keep on producing best quality wines in Africa and giving to the world at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you for your time, and all the best with your show. I love what you're doing. Keep pushing and growing those numbers.
Thank you so much.
You don't have to depend on anybody. I mean, we've got the internet that is at reach. So go out there and impress all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. What an honor to host you on the show. Thank you so much.
By the way, why are you called Freeman?
Freeman. I'm a free man. Don't I look free?
My middle name is Tokologo.
It's who?
Tokologo.
Okay. The story that I always tell my people is my mother was a single parent raising us. As a domestic worker, she used to be in these fancy suburbs. While doing laundry there was this white neighbor who yelled out and said, "Hi," and my mom say hello, and then my mom was carrying me at the back, and then the guy asked and say, "Who is that?" And then the guy, my mom said, his name is Tumelo. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a really great name. However, if you could add Freeman on it, it will be great. So ever since then, my mom has been calling me Freeman Tumelo. So it's actually two names. It's Freeman Tumelo. So, and I've just decided to use it as something that sounds okay, sounds good. Like I'm Freeman Tumelo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. It's nice having a chat with you, my brother. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so
and
much.
All the best.
Thank you. Keep well and stay safe.